If you've been around the Rec Room side of YouTube in the past couple months, which you're watching a rectuber right now, I'm gonna assume you have been, you'll recognize this guy. This is Player, most widely known as PlayerRR. For those who don't know, Player was a YouTuber mystery game. Armed with a voice changer and a non-descriptive avatar, a hidden rectuber took to the channel to release hints about themselves, and the viewers would try to guess who it was. It was honestly a really cool mystery, and at the beginning, I was hooked. I was totally here for it and was excited to see where it went next. But unfortunately, this intrigue and honestly fun of the whole thing didn't last very long, due to some poor decisions made by the person behind it. But before I go on, if you're interested in what I'm about to talk about, make sure to subscribe. And if you're feeling extra generous, make sure to use code STYLE in your watch or click the sexy looking support button on my profile. Now let's discuss Player and his hints.
Your eyes,
The first Player hint was as follows: I do not have white hair, which instantly disqualified me. The next hint was I do not wear a headband. The third hint was I am not Recegg, who is heavily suspected to be Player. The fourth hint was I do not have the emo hair. The fifth hint was I am verified on Rec Room. The sixth hint was I am not Bear to Bear, who after Recegg was heavily suspected to be Player. Side note, I spoke to Bear about his appearance in this video, and apparently he was not told anything about Player's identity and recorded the video entirely himself. The seventh hint was in the form of a room, known as Hint 7. Hint 8 was I've created in-game rooms before. Hint 9 was the reveal that all the previous hints were lies and none of it was actually true. Hint 10 was I have under 80,000 subscribers. Hint 11 was not a hint and just announced the finale for the mystery, which was an in-game event with hints ending with a final reveal of who Player was once and for all. And so, on July 18th, the event, the reveal, PlayerRR, that Rec Room advertised in the Rec Center, took place. Players joined the multi-instance broadcasted event with excitement. Who could Player be? We're finally gonna find out! They spawned into this room with a door, and above it are a couple TVs. The TVs were playing clips of rectubers guessing who Player was. Notably, with this missing 404 texture. And the entire hallway is that texture too. Figure out who it is yet? Well, if not, don't fret, because the reveal is about to begin. Suddenly, the door and the wall both collapsed, and behind it was another door players could go through. Upon going through the door, you were brought to a strange alleyway. Soon after, the reveal began. The same video that played on the TV started playing before them. And after the video concluded, screen disappeared, and behind it stood none other than Player himself. This is Toaster, the rectuber behind the Player channel the whole time. I gotta say though, I think I described this reveal event a little more engagingly than the actual event was. According to a lot of attendees, this was a pretty underwhelming reveal. Not only did multiple people guess this answer with proof beforehand, but after Toaster revealed himself, all he did was a Q&A.
For the short time I have with you, I'm gonna take some questions from you guys.
And for the most part, the questions were ones he'd already answered in interviews. This reveal was supposed to be a momentous occasion, especially with all the buildup it was supposed to have, but unfortunately, somewhere during this whole event, all the buildup was lost. But before we get to that, let's talk about the rectuber side of this whole thing. You likely don't know this, but Player actually reached out to a bunch of rectubers for their help, including me. Here's how my conversation with Player went. FYI, I did not remember that I fully guessed it was Toaster and I was correct here. I didn't make the community post because I didn't think it would work, I didn't think it would do anything. And I talked to many other rectubers and they agreed. It also seems that Player deleted this message for some reason, but he also asked me to get on his account with a voice changer and do an interview to cover his tracks, which is against the code of conduct. But anyway, finally, he asked me to send the clip guessing who he was for the room we were just in. You're probably wondering why I didn't comply with any of this, and well, there's a few reasons. First of all, I suspected it was Toaster, and a couple of friends of mine have had issues with him in the past, and I didn't want to involve myself in any of it. I'm gonna leave that there. Second, the whole game started feeling like an attempt to get clout. I thought it was strange that Player had a Discord and interact with people so often when he's supposed to be a mysterious, anonymous figure, and eventually it just gave me bad vibes, you know? Third and finally, I was disqualified after the first hint. Player's first hint was I do not have white hair, and well, although most of my hair is gray, I have white streaks here and there. So this ticked me off of the list. And obviously, as we know now, Player wasn't me. So there was no reason for me to pretend to be Player, you know? Anyway, enough about me. Let's talk about how Player's game was fundamentally flawed, and how it all really fell apart.
your eyes, you'll
Let's return to the hints for a minute, specifically hint 9. After an unsettling music video, the video concluded with the 9th hint, which stated, the hints were lies. Why did Player do this? There's no reason to lie about the hints. Although Player clearly wanted this to be a mind-blowing switch-up, for me and many others, this served as a final straw, and there are many reasons for that. But the worst thing about this hint is it's not even true. Not even all the hints are lies. Player states the hints were lies, but literally the first hint wasn't a lie. To remind you, the first hint was I do not have white hair. By saying the hints were lies, this would mean that the person behind Player has white hair, but Toaster doesn't. He has black hair, the opposite color, literally. This exact logic also applies to hint 2, where he says he doesn't wear a headband, which he doesn't, so that's true. Hint 3 and 6, where my sentence literally says hint 3rd and 6th hint. Wow, I really ate that up. Hint 3 and 6, where he claims not to be bear-to-bear or rec-egg, which are obviously true because Player is Toaster. And hint 8 being I've created in-game rooms before, which is not a lie because Toaster has 2 public rooms. It just doesn't work. The only hint that's technically a lie is hint 5, being I am verified on Rec Room, which he is not. The only even half-logical reason I can think of as to why he would lie is to make sure he wouldn't be guessed as Player. But if you think about that too for more than a few seconds, it totally falls apart. Stay with me here. This gets confusing and I was totally confusing myself while writing this, but trust me, it makes sense. The whole point of the Player channel was to be a guessing game. Viewers were supposed to use what information given to them by the anonymous figure to try to find out who the figure is. The whole point is that you could be right. You could have the correct guess once the person is revealed. Due to lying about the clues, Toaster totally rigged the game. With the hints and knowledge you were given, Toaster was disqualified by the 5th hint. Even worse, then after the confession that the hints were lies, Toaster again gave the audience misinformation as I explained. It's not fair, none of it was fair. Although you could blame hint 9 for this, the game began crumbling at hint 5. But hint 9 is not innocent, far from it actually. Because there are even more problems with this choice to lie. For this entire game to work, you need to have the audience's trust that you're giving them accurate information. Once you've lost the trust, you've lost everything. Now that the audience is aware that you lied, how do we know anything else you tell us is the truth? Additionally, Player could pull the Uno reverse card again and claim that the hint saying all the hints were lies was also a lie. You no longer have any trust whatsoever when you lie. Plus, as I said, it's a guessing game. When you lie in a guessing game, you rig it. Literally, think about the board game Guess Who. If you have somebody with orange hair, and if someone asks, does your character have orange hair, and you say no, you have rigged the game and made it so that person lost. Player literally gave his audience trust issues and effectively killed and rigged the game. So, at the end of the day, the Player game was rigged and just kind of a mess. A great idea, gone about in a very poor way. But, I guess it's a good thing that Player is not the only anonymous rectuber mystery. In fact, there are many, but we'll get back to that.
Close your eyes, you.
After Player, many felt inspired to try to make their own YouTube mystery. But the only one that had come anywhere near Player's success has been User. This is UserRR, basically a Player clone. I'm not gonna go through all of User's hints because he had like 17 and did not have the same problem Player had. And although I want to praise him for his slightly more original take on the whole idea, it is insanely similar to Player, with the deep voice changer to the dark editing style. In hint 2, he even used the exact same song Player used in hint 9.
Are you listening?
And he even made his own version of the Are You Paying Attention with Are You Listening? Although in my opinion, I think this version of the game was gone about in a better way, it's still not perfect. And I think he could have been a teeny bit more original. Most of the videos consisted of the rectuber talking about User before being knocked out and taken to a void where they're tied up. After some kind of chatter from them, User comes and chokes the rectuber before the hint appears. Kinky. I do really like this take on the mystery, but just like Player, it has its problems too. Just much less disastrous ones. First of all, the hints aren't really the important part of the video. The whole video before the hint appears has basically nothing to do with the hint itself. It's normally totally unrelated. Although this isn't the end of the world, I think it could have been super cool if the hint played a part in the video in some way. Like, maybe the rectuber discovers a hint, and then User kidnaps them so the information doesn't get out. It would give User more of a reason to kidnap them, and would make the hint feel a little less shoehorned shoehorned in. Just an idea though. Second, user himself disqualified certain rectubers. Any rectuber he kidnapped was more or less disqualified from his game. I guess it could have been possible for one of them to be it, and then had someone pose as user on an alt account, which would have been pretty cool and a much better way to make it seem like it's not you than Toaster did. But anyway, just like Player, user's game is also fundamentally flawed. But unlike Player, this isn't really something he could control. And I'd like to preface this by saying I have nothing against user or the person behind it. And I don't mean this negatively at all, it's just facts, honestly.
Close your eyes,
If you don't know who user was, I'll have his reveal video linked in the description. Go check that out. While you're down there, make sure to click the top RecNet link and then the big yellow support button to support me. Only if you're enjoying the video though. Are you back? Okay, cool. I'm going to reveal user's identity in 3, 2, 1. The person behind UserRR was a guy named ZDog. Does the name ring a bell? Well, if you're like me and most others, it didn't. The real issue with ZDog's game was because of his size. Whoa, wait. The issue with ZDog's user game is because of his channel size. I'm unaware of how many subscribers he had before being revealed, but ZDog currently sits at 788 subscribers. Although someone's subscriber count doesn't directly correlate to how recognizable they are, most people did not know of ZDog. I held a Discord poll, join my Discord, on whether people knew of ZDog previously, and only one person had, Ryan's guide. Additionally, he only knew him through a friend, not from his channel. Instead of making it impossible to guess him like Player, he was honestly just too small to be guessed. It would be a little better if he implied that he was a smaller YouTuber with a hint, but the only hint he had related to YouTube was I have less than 100k subscribers, which, the way it's worded and everything, makes you think that he has a couple 10,000, you know? Again, no hate at all to him whatsoever. He seems like a really chill guy, actually. And again, I'm not trying to sound pretentious. I hope you understand what I'm saying. If not, I'm sorry if I sound like a dick. So overall, in my opinion, user had a better game than Player. It was just undermined by something he couldn't quite control. Although user and Player have been the largest rectuber mysteries, they are very, very far from the only ones. Player, and in turn user, inspired countless people to copy the idea. Although Guy and Avatar art seem to be satirical takes on the idea, there are many that are trying it legitimately. And I can almost guarantee that almost none of the people trying it legitimately have the following for the game to work, which was the same problem user had. So for better or for worse, I truly don't think there'll be another successful rectuber mystery. Someone a few days ago who didn't even have a YouTube channel asked me to help them start their own mystery. Like, that's not how it works. At the end of the day, I kind of feel like these games come down to trying to boost your own main channel. I'm sure Player and users reveals help them gain a few subscribers. And a lot of people want to try to use it to kickstart their own channels. But what they don't realize is that undermines the whole point of the game. So honestly, in my opinion, Player and user and these rectuber mysteries had their moment, and that moment is pretty much over. But if it does come back one day, I really hope it's done well. No lies, someone with enough recognizability, good and engaging hints, you get the idea. That being said though, I have a confession to make. I might have just torn these mysteries to the ground, but guess what? I've been behind my own rectuber mystery this whole time, and none of you had any clue. So, this is my reveal. I am gay RR. Just kidding, please let this trend die, it's had its moment. But I want to know what you think. Did you like Player or user? Did you guess either of them before they revealed themselves? Let me know any and all thoughts you have on any of this in the comments. If you enjoyed this analysis, be sure to subscribe. And if you're feeling extra generous, use code STYLE in game. It helps out the channel a ton. Oh, and finally, if you like this, I got something similar for you. Consider checking out when I analyzed one of Rec Room's most problematic events. Anyway, that's enough shelling out for today. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.